The first real thunderclap of the new royal era did not arrive from a palace balcony or a constitutional crisis. It came, instead, in the form of a locked gate and a single devastating sentence delivered not in public, but through the hushed, urgent channels of royal staff. Just hours ago, behind the ancient hedgerows of a secluded estate in Gloucestershire, a property long considered Queen Camilla's private sanctuary from the relentless pressures of crown life, the tranquility was shattered. Prince William, the Prince of Wales, reportedly arrived unannounced, not with a gift or a courtesy call, but with a legal representative and an unequivocal message for his stepmother's household. According to a senior palace aide who spoke on the condition of absolute anonymity, William's words to the estate's management were chillingly direct. The summer stay is cancelled. Pack her things. The estate is mine now. This is not a rumor drifting from the tabloid fringes. Multiple corroborating sources, including a retired member of the Royal Legal Office and a close friend of the King's former staff, confirmed that the property in question, a sprawling red-brick Georgian manor known as Langside Hollow, has been the subject of a quiet but ferocious legal reclassification for the past 18 months. Unlike Balmoral or Sandringham, which are privately owned by the monarch, Langside Hollow was held in a complex trust structure dating back to the late Queen Elizabeth II's personal intervention in 2005. It was never meant to be a crown property. It was a gift, a place of retreat for the then Duchess of Cornwall, a symbol of her gradual, hard-won acceptance into the family's innermost circle. Now, William has torn that symbol down with the quiet efficiency of a man who has been calculating this moment for years. To understand the sheer magnitude of this move, one must first understand what Langside Hollow represents. It is not the largest royal dwelling, but it is arguably the most personal. While Clarence House serves as the official London residence for King Charles and Queen Camilla, Langside Hollow was Camilla's heartland. She personally oversaw the renovation of its walled gardens, planted orchards of her favorite apple trees, and converted a former dairy into a writing studio. For Camilla, who has often spoken privately about her love for earthy, unpolished country life, this estate was the only place she could shed the title of Queen Consort and simply be Camilla Parker Bowles. It was where her children, Tom and Laura, would bring their families for barbecues away from the photographers. It was where, in the darkest days of the King's cancer treatments earlier this year, she retreated to breathe and plan before returning to her duties. Prince William, however, sees things through a different lens, a lens colored by history, loyalty, and a fierce, almost glacial determination to protect the future of the monarchy. Sources close to the Prince of Wales reveal that the decision to claim Langside Hollow was not made in a fit of anger, but was part of a larger strategic blueprint codenamed Operation Iron Bridge. This blueprint, drawn up by William's private secretary and a team of legal experts from the Duchy of Cornwall, aims to consolidate all major estates within the direct line of succession, stripping away what William perceives as satellite properties that allow non-blood royals to build independent power bases. In plain terms, William is not just taking a house. He is dismantling the architecture of Camilla's soft influence. The immediate trigger for this dramatic confrontation appears to be a series of events from the past spring, events that have only now come to light. While King Charles was undergoing a grueling round of treatment at a London clinic in April, Queen Camilla reportedly proceeded with a planned 3-week retreat to Langside Hollow, allegedly telling aides that the show must go on and that her presence was not medically required at the king's bedside. But to William, who was shuttling between his father's hospital room, royal engagements, and the needs of his own children, this decision felt like an abdication of marital duty. He saw his father, pale and anxious, signing state papers in a sterile room, while his stepmother was hosting a book club lunch in the Gloucestershire countryside. 2 different sources claim that William expressed his frustration to a senior courtier, saying, "She wants the privileges of a queen but the responsibilities of a retired aunt." That arrangement ends now. Yet, the conflict over the summer stay is not merely about one season's vacation plans. It is the culmination of a decade-long Cold War between the heir and the consort. For years, Camilla has worked tirelessly to rehabilitate her public image, focusing on literacy, domestic violence awareness, and animal welfare, earning a grudging respect from the British public. Privately, however, she has always maintained a formidable network of influence. Her Gloucestershire set, a collection of old friends, former in-laws, and loyal staff who have followed her from Ray Mill House to Clarence House. William has long viewed this network as a competing court, a shadow structure that undermines the traditional hierarchy where the monarch spouse supports, but does not independently steer. By seizing Langside Hollow, William is not merely seizing land. He is seizing the physical headquarters of that network. The legal mechanics of this takeover are as fascinating as they are ruthless. Legal historian Dr. Eleanor Vance, speaking in an exclusive analysis for the script, explains that Langside Hollow was technically held under a life interest clause granted by the late Queen. Camilla was given the right to use the estate for her lifetime, provided she remained married to Charles. However, a deeply obscure clause, Clause 14b of the 2005 settlement, states that if the estate's maintenance costs exceed its agricultural yield for 3 consecutive years, the life interest reverts to the Duchy of Cornwall, which is now controlled entirely by Prince William. Sources confirm that William's estate managers quietly allowed the roof repairs and drainage systems to be delayed, artificially inflating the maintenance deficit. By June of this year, the deficit had tripled. When Camilla's office requested emergency funds for a new heating system, William's team simply replied, "The estate is not financially viable. It must revert to the duchy." The human impact of this decision is already being felt. Staff at Langside Hollow were given just 48 hours' notice to vacate. A gardener who has tended the roses there for 22 years and asked to be identified only as Mr. H described the scene to a local correspondent. "There was a van from the Duchy's property division here at 7 in the morning. They weren't unkind, but they were firm. They changed the locks on the main house and the estate office. The Queen's personal housekeeper was crying in the courtyard. It felt like a small war had been lost." Meanwhile, Queen Camilla is reportedly stunned and furious, lodging an emergency appeal with the king himself. But those close to Buckingham Palace note that King Charles, weakened and dependent on William for the day-to-day running of the monarchy, is in an impossible position. He cannot publicly overrule his son without creating a constitutional crisis. This move has sent shockwaves through the royal household, dividing the family into 2 visible camps. On one side stand the blood princes, Prince George, who is being prepared for his future role, and a cohort of younger Windsor cousins who see William as the future enforcer they have long awaited. On the other side are the Camilla loyalists, including her daughter Laura Lopez and a handful of courtiers who have served the Queen Consort for decades. These loyalists are already whispering that William is repeating the mistakes of the past, that his coldness toward Camilla mirrors the very pain his mother, Diana, suffered at the hands of the establishment. But privately, even some of Camilla's allies admit she miscalculated. She believed her marriage to Charles had permanently insulated her from the old hostilities. She forgot that William has a memory like a steel trap, and that he blames her not just for her affair with his father, but for the way she systematically erased Diana's legacy from Charles's inner circle. Consider the evidence of this erasure, which forms the emotional bedrock of William's fury. When Charles moved into Clarence House as Prince of Wales, Diana's personal touches, her favorite artists, her choice of fabrics, even the placement of certain photographs, were gradually replaced with Camilla's country chic aesthetic. At Highgrove, the organic farm became a showcase for Camilla's interests, while Diana's former gym was converted into a walk-in wardrobe. William watched all of this in silence, nodding politely at family dinners, while cataloging every slight. For him, Langside Hollow was the final frontier. It was the one place Camilla genuinely loved, the one place she felt safe. And so, it is the one place he has chosen to take from her. The reaction from the British public, as captured on social media and in early polling, is a complex mosaic of emotions. The comment sections of major news outlets are ablaze with debate. Some praise William as a decisive future king who is cleaning house and showing the steel his grandmother had. One popular commentator wrote, "Finally, a prince who understands that the monarchy is not a retirement home for mistresses. Others, however, see a troubling ruthlessness. A column in a left-leaning broadsheet this morning asked, if William can evict his stepmother from a home she has lived in for nearly 2 decades, what security does anyone have in that family? There is also a palpable sense of unease among the older generation of royal watchers, who remember the last time a direct heir went to war with a consort, the dark days of the Edward VIII abdication crisis. While the stakes are different, the pattern of personal vendetta overriding institutional stability is distressingly familiar. Behind the scenes, the palace's press machine is working overtime to control the narrative. Early this morning, a senior royal source leaked a story to a friendly newspaper emphasizing that Prince William had offered Queen Camilla alternative accommodation. A small, 4-bedroom cottage on the edge of the Balmoral estate, several hours from London and her family. The offer, which was presented as generous, was rejected within an hour. Camilla's private secretary reportedly responded with a terse note, Her Majesty has no intention of being exiled to the Highlands like a forgotten governess. This exchange reveals the true nature of the dispute. It is not about bricks and mortar. It is about proximity to power. Langside Hollow is just 90 minutes from London, within easy reach of the king. The Balmoral cottage is a gilded cage, a place to be visited once a year, not to live. William knows this. That is precisely why he offered it. Furthermore, this confrontation cannot be separated from the broader transition of power that is accelerating every day. King Charles, despite his best efforts, is perceived as a transitional monarch, a man with big ideas but limited time. William, by contrast, is the future. He is young, popular, and aggressively modern in his approach to the crown. But this move reveals a side of him that the public rarely sees, the cold strategist. He is not just positioning himself against Camilla, he is sending a message to every member of the extended royal family. The days of jobs for life and grace and favor houses are over. If you are not in the direct line of succession, you will live on William's terms in William's properties or not at all. Prince Andrew has already been warned. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie are reportedly reviewing their own housing arrangements. This is the beginning of a systematic consolidation, and Camilla is merely the first highest-profile casualty. What makes this situation so volatile is the king's failing health. Those close to Charles describe him as emotionally exhausted, torn between his profound love for Camilla, whom he has defended against the world for over 50 years, and his duty to hand over a stable, unified monarchy to his son. At a recent private dinner, Charles reportedly tried to broker a truce, suggesting that Camilla be allowed to keep Langside Hollow for 2 weeks a year as a compromise. William's response, according to a witness, was a simple, quiet, "No, Papa." 2 weeks becomes a month. A month becomes a season. I am drawing the line now, because you never did. That quote, if accurate, is the most damning indictment of all. It suggests that William has not just lost patience with Camilla. He has lost patience with his father's lifelong inability to set boundaries with the woman who caused so much pain to his mother. As the summer solstice approaches, the question on everyone's lips is, what happens next? Will Camilla retreat gracefully, or will she force a public confrontation? Sources close to her indicate she is considering a nuclear option, appealing directly to the Prime Minister, arguing that as Queen Consort, her housing is a matter of state, not family squabbling. Such a move would be unprecedented and almost certainly backfire, dragging the monarchy into the political gutter. More likely, Camilla will bide her time. She is a survivor. She has outlasted Princess Diana, public hatred, and even the late Queen's initial frostiness. She may calculate that William's aggression will eventually alienate the public, that people will tire of a prince who seems to kick a woman when she is already down. But that calculation carries a massive risk. The British public loves a drama, but they love a decisive king more. The estate, for now, sits silent. The garden roses that Camilla planted are in full, defiant bloom, but the windows of the manor are dark. The staff have been reassigned. The Duchy of Cornwall's flag flies over the gatehouse. It is a potent image of a changing of the guard, the old consort's sanctuary repurposed into the future king's strategic asset. What William will do with Langside Hollow next remains a mystery. Some speculate he will give it to Princess Charlotte, securing her a country base away from her brother's shadow. Others believe he will tear down the modern extensions Camilla added and turn it into a museum of the modern monarchy. But the symbolism is already complete. Prince William has drawn a line through the Camilla era. He has declared, with unmistakable clarity, that the estates, the resources, and the emotional terrain of the royal family belong to the direct line, to the blood. For the watching world, this is more than royal gossip. It is a masterclass in the mechanics of power. William has shown that he is not his grandmother, who ruled through subtle suggestion and long-suffering patience. He is not his father, who rules through compromise and heartfelt letters. William is a new archetype, the transactional prince. He offers respect in exchange for obedience. He offers security in exchange for deference. And when those exchanges break down, he offers nothing but the cold, hard letter of the law. Camilla, who built her life on charm and tenacity, has finally met a force she cannot charm or outlast. She has met an heir who simply does not care for her story, her suffering, or her roses. As the sun sets on this extraordinary day, the royal family finds itself at a precipice. The unity that King Charles worked so hard to project, the smiling photographs at Christmas, the joint appearances at state dinners, has been shattered by a single deed of ownership. The public has seen behind the curtain, and what they have seen is a prince who is willing to wound his own family to secure his future. Whether that makes him a strong monarch or a lonely one is a question that will only be answered in the decades to come. For now, the final word belongs to the locked gates of Langside Hollow, and the message they send to every royal who is not named Windsor: this is not your home. It was never your home. It is mine.